Hi, Travis.
Hey, Lisa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
We,
Fantastic.
I can see a lot of people are logging in. I think we have a few more minutes before we can get started.
Yeah, no worries. I'm
Yeah?
actually, am I cool to connect my iPad?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Okay.
Whenever you want to share your screen, just go for it and I'll stop to share my screen. Yeah?
Okay, yeah, no, I'm good right now. I just wanted to make sure at the right time I can draw stuff.
Yes, sure. And
Awesome.
have, hello, everyone, to all the attendees. We'll be starting in a few minutes.
All right. Cool. Well, while we're waiting, can we have some fun?
Yes, of course, I'm
Yeah.
back.
If that's allowed.
We
That's
have
allowed. We
three
can have
more
some fun.
minutes to have some fun.
Perfect. Okay. No, it's going to be fun. While don't that makes it sound like we're not going to have fun once we get
No, no,
started.
no, we will, we will.
We're gonna have a great time. I got to fix
Some
my camera here.
pre-meeting fun.
Okay. Awesome. Hey, Antonio, how are you?
Hi, Travis. How are you?
I'm
Good to
doing
see you, my
fantastic.
man.
Good to see you too. I wish it was in person. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it will be
I
Yes,
wish it
better
was in
for
person.
us also. But it's amazing to have you with us, only to
Oh,
Portugal. What a huge honor. Thank you so much.
well, it's my pleasure. It's an honor to be here with you guys. And I wish it was in person. I wish I would get to see all you guys, shake hands or fist bump or whatever we would do. But I'm a hugger, so I'd probably hug everybody. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's great to see you guys. And so here's what I'd love to do while we're waiting to get started. Can I give something to the group?
Yes,
yeah, of
sure.
course.
Okay, here's what I would
Go ahead.
love to know, guys. As we're getting started, I know lots going on, and we're going to talk about all of that and how to win in this economy and what's coming next and everything. But here's what I want to do. I want to start off with wins, celebrations, victories, gratitude. What are you celebrating? What are you grateful for? Punch it into the chat. I want to know what is something you're celebrating or something you're extremely grateful for right now. Punch it into the chat.
Celebrating is with us. So I believe that you are going to have a lot of answers.
Yep. Having a family at home, that's awesome, Anna. Health. Juliana, I see that.
Health.
Just did a deed in the morning. Nice, Jose. Fantastic.
Health and
Luisa,
love are
family's health.
probably the most important things.
Yeah. Love it. Newcomer to the family group, Luis. Is that meaning that you had a baby or somebody you know had a baby? Celebrating being alive, Rui.
Celebrating my 77 years.
Ooh, awesome.
Trusting in the future. Great.
Love it. Keeping our jobs.
New listings coming in.
Time to think. I love that.
So
Trusting in the future. Very cool, you guys. What are you celebrating? What are you thankful for? What are you grateful for? New listing. Fantastic, Jose. To have the opportunity to cook, Andrea. I love to eat. So if you ever need somebody to eat, I'll celebrate your cooking with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been to Portugal. I've been to Portugal before, and I can tell you the food's phenomenal. So
yeah,
if
that's true.
if you love to cook, I love to eat.
Yeah. So I think we can actually slowly get started. I just want to say hello to everyone. Welcome, everyone. I was actually supposed to be in Portugal today with Travis, and I'm actually really sad that we can't be there. But I'm really grateful and really excited that we can make it work like this and just do everything online and live and connect with everyone. Before you get started, Travis, I know Antonio will probably want to say a few words to the audience in Portuguese. So I'm gonna see you for the Q&A, and I'll just like stop my video now.
Awesome.
So Lisa, thank you so much for these kind words. Thank you for this huge honor to have Travis all alone to Portugal. And thank you to Remax Europe to provide this huge event. Of course, it will be better if it could be personally. And Portugal has a lot of things to offer to all our visitors, but I believe we'll do it very shortly. So thank you so much for this huge opportunity. So I'll make a short presentation of Travis to the Portuguese attendees in Portuguese language. I believe you are going to understand some words, but let's do it. And then I'll pass it to you, Travis.
Perfect.
Boa tarde, Remax. Boa tarde a todos. Obrigado por estarem presentes. Muito obrigado por despenderem do vosso tempo, que apesar de estarmos em casa em isolamento social, sabemos que é extremamente importante e queremos, nesta hora e meia que vamos estar aqui com o Travis, aprender muitas coisas, tentar tirar ideias para o nosso negócio. O nosso negócio não está parado, estamos ativos, estamos a angariar, estamos a fazer visitas, estamos a receber propostas de clientes, tudo dentro da normalidade e respeitando sempre as regras e as medidas de segurança e saúde da DGS. Bom, o Travis Robertson é o CEO e fundador da Don't Settle Coaching. É uma das mais rápidas empresas na estratégia de crescimento de negócio no mundo inteiro. A sua missão pessoal e empresarial é transformar radicalmente as vidas e o negócio das pessoas por todo o mundo, e especialmente aquelas com quem trabalha. É um dos melhores coaches atuais do mercado imobiliário e já treinou dezenas de milhares de profissionais por todo o mundo, em áreas como marketing de alto rendimento, desenvolvimento do negócio e criação de equipas. É reconhecido como um dos grandes profissionais da atualidade a seguir, como exemplo, nesta nova era do mercado imobiliário. O Travis e a equipa mantêm, apesar deste período que temos, mantêm um altíssimo nível e inigualável de excelência e treinam alguns dos melhores agentes de todo o mundo. Hoje vamos falar de algumas coisas super importantes. Hábitos do agente de alto desempenho, ter um planeamento e um plano de desenvolvimento e um business plan para vocês continuarem a vossa atividade, trabalhar vídeo e redes sociais, apresentação de imóveis a compradores, apresentação de serviço a compradores e a proprietários, serviço ao cliente, referências para colegas, para o nosso círculo de influências, acompanhamento dos nossos clientes no serviço que prestamos, como crescer o nosso negócio, não só no período em que estamos, mas no mercado imobiliário, que é extremamente competitivo, como é que nós conseguimos nos diferenciar e fazer crescer o nosso negócio. Tenho certeza que vai ser uma hora extremamente produtiva, vai ser uma hora fantástica. Este era um evento, como vocês sabem, era para ser presencial, tínhamos tudo agendado com o Travis e com a Remax Europa. Infelizmente não foi possível, oportunidades não faltarão e tenho a certeza que todos vocês vão tirar pelo menos 2 ou 3 ideias hoje desta hora que vamos estar com o Travis. Travis, the word is yours, my man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that incredible introduction that I did not understand a single word of, other than maybe my own name. So that was, and Antonio, you could have basically said everything bad about me and I'd be like, cool, so glad to be here. So thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate I'm assuming, which was a phenomenal introduction and probably raised the bar on what I got to deliver here over the next 90 minutes. So Let me just first and foremost, before we get into the content, say thank you guys so much. Thank you to Antonio. Thank you to Remax Europe, to Lisa, to the entire team for making this happen and for inviting me to be a part of this. Obviously, my hope, much like Lisa's and Antonio's, was to be with you guys live right now, today, in your beautiful country, celebrating with you, sharing with you, engaging with you for an all-day session. But clearly that's not going to happen. So what I wanted to do was take the next 90 minutes and try and get you as much as I can that's going to help you and help you prepare for what's happening right now and what's going to be coming over the next months, years. We don't know how long. And I believe there's incredible opportunity right now. And I'm going to give you some strategies today to be able to leverage that. But here's what I know is that over the last number of weeks, one of the cool things about Remax Europe is that there has just been an abundance of information that has been given to you guys through other speakers, other trainers, other people that have just come in to share their knowledge and share their ideas. And if I know anything, I know this, that as great as all that is, it can also be extremely overwhelming, because sometimes you're wondering, where do I start? There's so many things I could be doing. What should I be doing? And so what we want to focus on here today, and what I'm going to be giving you today, are some principles and some frameworks that allow you to take everything that you're hearing from all of the speakers, from all of the trainers, including myself, and give you a master framework to help you identify what you should be spending the vast majority of your time on right now and in the market that's coming. So I'm going to be walking you through 3 principles today. And to kind of sum it up, it's basically this, that right now I'm going to tell you what a flywheel teaches us about success in any market at any time. So I'm going to walk you through what a flywheel will teach us about success in any market at any time. Number 2 is I'm going to show you what a runner teaches us about beliefs and why now more than ever, this is absolutely critical to your success, more than ever. And number 3, I'm going to show you what an NFL coach, National Football League, which is an American sport for those that may not be interested or knowledgeable about it, but what an NFL coach can teach us about strategy and why this will create a more competitive advantage for you in the market right now and in what's coming against anybody else in the space. So you've got some fun we're going to have today. I want you to buckle up, but here's what I want to kind of let you know in all of this, because a lot of times people ask, is what you teach still relevant right now, given everything that's going on? Given everything that's happening, is what we're going to cover today still going to be relevant 6 months from now or a year from now? And the answer is yes, because everything I'm going to cover with you today is a timeless principle or a timeless strategy that you can use now and in the future. And here's what we know. A lot of people say, well, we're entering into a new market. And how do you know it's going to work in a new market? Because new markets are nothing new. There's nothing new about a new market. In fact, what I can tell you is this: every market is a new market. So what this industry looks like today, even before all of the COVID-19 stuff, what the industry looks like today is vastly different than what it looked like 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago. And it's certainly different than what it looked like 15 years ago. Every market is a new market. Every season is a new season. Doesn't mean there's not some overlap, but it means that we're always evolving, we're always changing, but there are principles and there are strategies that are timeless. And I'm going to walk you through what those are, but I just want you to keep in mind that there is nothing new about being in a new economy. It is always, always changing. All right, you guys? So let's get into it. Principle number 1, what a flywheel can teach us about success in any market. Now, a flywheel is basically, think of a big giant gear, and imagine this big giant wheel, this gear that is mounted on an axle. And this flywheel is what it's called. This giant gear, this giant wheel weighs a couple thousand pounds. It's a couple feet thick, and it's made out of metal. And it's 30 feet in diameter. It's 30 feet high. And your job is to get this flywheel moving. And it's to get it rolling and it's to get it moving. Well, in the beginning, you're going to start pushing it and it's going to be very, very slow, very slow. And that first rotation is going to take some time. And then the second rotation is going to take some time, but it's going to go a little faster. And the more you keep pushing, the more you keep that thing in momentum, all of a sudden the momentum of this flywheel begins to build. The momentum of the flywheel begins to build. And now with the same amount of effort, you're getting more rotations out of this wheel. The momentum is starting to build. The energy is starting to build. Till all of a sudden, this thing is flying, and it takes very little for you to maintain the energy and the momentum of this flywheel. Now, why is this important? Because your business, your success is like a flywheel, meaning that you are always in momentum. Your business, your life, your success, what you're doing, you are always in momentum. The problem is a lot of people are in momentum in the wrong direction. So principle number one is we have to get into momentum, but we have to get into momentum in the right direction. Because in this season, in this time, one of the biggest mistakes I've been seeing people make is they've shifted the momentum the wrong direction. And much like the momentum going in the right direction, the momentum going in the wrong direction creates an energy and it creates a speed and it creates a force behind it. And your momentum is either working for you and moving you closer to your goals, or it's working against you and moving you further from your goals. And so the question you have to ask yourself is, what has been my momentum right now through this? And here's why this is abundantly important. Because your momentum during this time right now is going to determine the momentum that you enter the market that's coming next. It's going to determine the momentum that you carry with you into the market when all of this lifts, or it begins to lift faster and faster. So right now, I know in Portugal, that the timing is right around the beginning of May, that they're looking to kind of lift a lot of the restrictions. So when that happens, what momentum will you be carrying into that day? Is it going to be the momentum of moving the wrong direction away from your goals? Or is it going to be the momentum of moving towards the goals that you want, towards the outcomes that you want? Because think of momentum like a speeding passenger train. Is that in the beginning, when it stopped at the station, getting that train going takes time. It's slow at first. It starts building up speed, building up speed, building up speed. But once it gets rolling, it's moving in a direction. And to stop that train and shift it and move it the other direction takes a tremendous amount of time, a tremendous amount of force, and a tremendous amount of energy to get that train back up to speed in the other direction. So if your momentum has been heading away from your goals, if your momentum has been moving you in the wrong direction, you know what? Nobody's buying right now. Nobody's selling right now. I can't get a deal done. Nobody's looking at homes. I'm just going to sit on my butt at home and hope this all turns around. There's nothing I can really do. I don't even really know where to start. I'll consume some content. I'll watch some videos, but I can't really do anything with it. If that's the momentum, that is a momentum that is moving you away from your goals. So now your freight train, or your passenger train, is starting to build momentum away from your goals. And what you've got to do is you've got to shift the momentum so that it's no longer moving you away from your goals, but it's moving you towards your goals, so that you can build that speed up, build that momentum up, so that when this lifts, and even through this, and especially when this lifts, that you hit that market with so much speed, so much, energy, that you are the one winning the opportunities that are going to be out there. Because here's what we know right now: people are still buying homes. They're still needing to sell. And when this is all done, people are still going to buy and sell homes because they need to, for a variety of reasons. People are still going to be building families. They're still going to be buying vacation properties. They're going to be selling vacation properties. They're going to be shifting investments. They're going to be transferring for jobs, for work. There's always going to be opportunity. The question is, who is going to have the momentum necessary to capture as much of that market as possible, both now and when this thing lifts? So you need to ask yourself this question: which direction have I really been going with my momentum? Have I been moving up towards my goal, spiraling up towards my goal, or have I been spiraling down towards depression, frustration, anxiety, fear, all of these other things that are going to move me away from where I ultimately want to be? So the first thing we have to do is we have to get in momentum. And one of the things that I love is that once you're in momentum, once you have this built up, do you realize, and a mentor of mine says it this way, he goes, when you're committed to your goal, when you're committed to your outcome and you're in momentum, the facts don't matter. The facts don't matter. And at the beginning, I thought, well, that doesn't make any sense. The fact is COVID is still real. The fact is all of us are in some stage of lockdown. The fact is that all of these things are going on. And while that is a fact, it doesn't matter for people who are in momentum and people who are committed. I saw plenty of you celebrating getting deals done, getting listings, getting buyers signed, getting things happening, getting, deals signed and pulled together. I saw plenty of those celebrations. Why? Because those are the people staying in momentum. And it doesn't matter that all of this other stuff is going on, because yes, that's true, but it's also true that they're selling homes. It's also true that they're making deals happen. So the fact that COVID-19 is going on, the fact that there's a lockdown doesn't matter when somebody's committed and all in on their goal. And so one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making right now is they're changing their goal. They're changing their goal. And when you change your goal because the situation changes, you do something which you don't even realize you're doing, but you're shifting the energy the wrong direction. You're moving the momentum away from where you want. So let me give you an example. Let's just say that you started this year and you said, this year I want to sell 20 homes, or I want to do 20 deals this year. And then all of this stuff hit. So COVID-19 hits, you get on lockdown, and you decide in that moment, well, I'm losing, I don't know how much time, a month, 2 months, 3 months. I know I said I wanted to do 20, but I'm going to change that and I'm going to drop the goal. I want you to listen to what that conversation, what that dialogue would sound like if you were telling that to somebody like me. So if you were to say, hey, Travis, I know that I wanted to do 20 deals at the beginning of the year, but here's the deal. I mean, I didn't know this whole thing was going to go on with COVID and with the lockdown. And, 20, it's feeling like it's getting out of reach. And I don't know. I mean, people aren't buying and selling at the same rate. They're not moving at the same rate. And so I think what I want to do, Travis, is I want to bring my goal down. I want to bring my goal down, and I think I'm going to drop it to, 12 or 15 deals this year. I think, if I do 12 or 15 deals, I'll be happy, because obviously I couldn't have predicted all these things were going to happen. So if I can do just 12 or 15 deals, I'll be okay. And honestly, if I only get to 10, look, I did 12 last year. If I finished this year at 10 with everything going on, I'd be pretty happy with myself. Do you feel the energy of that conversation and the way that it's moving the wrong direction? If you feel that energy, type yes into the chat box. If you feel how it's kind of this downward pull on energy, it's slowing me down, it's moving me in the wrong direction. If you feel that, type yes into the chat. I want to make sure you're feeling this. Downwards. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Guys, is that the energy that is going to serve you through this and after this? The answer is no. Now, I want you to hear this conversation. Let's say I knew you wanted to do 20 deals and I came to you and I said, Paolo, let me ask you, your goal was 20 at the beginning of the year. Where's your goal at now? And you were to say to me, hey, Travis, my goal is still 20. You know why my goal is still 20? Because I believe in this market, there are still 20 people out there who need to buy or who need to sell. And I believe that it is my responsibility to go find the 20 that I'm supposed to serve, because I believe there's going to be over 1,000 homes that sell, or 2,000 homes that sell, or 1,500 homes that sell over the next 6, 8, 10 months. And my goal is to go find the 20 that I was supposed to serve at the beginning of the year. My goal to serve 20 people into buying or selling a home has not changed. Is it going to be a little harder? Maybe. Is it going to take a little extra work? Sure. But guess what? I still had a goal of 20. Just because the situation changed doesn't mean the goal should change, because I set the goal believing that that was the right goal. And no matter what goes on in the market, my goal is still to serve and help 20 people buy or sell a home. So, you know what? My goal is 20, and it may be harder, it may be different. I don't know, but I'm still going to go get 20 people. Which one would you rather have? Now guys, do you feel the energy of that? Punch yes into the chat if you feel the energy of that and the momentum that that would create. Yeah, I'm in. Yes, right? So which energy do you want coming through this and outside of this? The worst thing you can do, and there are a lot of coaches, a lot of trainers advising you to change your goals. Don't change your goals, because the minute you do, you tell your subconscious mind, slow down, ease up, take it easy. Hey, this is outside of your control. There's nothing you can do. The market's moved away from you. Oh, it sucks to be you. You know, all of these things start coming through and you automatically slow down. And the minute you start hitting the brakes, you had this freight train that was going, you had this passenger train that was moving down the tracks towards your goal. And then you start hitting the brakes, you start slowing it down. And when you slow it down, all of a sudden, without you realizing it, it changes direction and it starts moving away from your goal. And then it starts building speed away from your goal, away from your dream, away from your outcome. And now, if you want to get back in momentum towards your goal, it takes a lot of effort. You got to slow that train down. You got to turn it around, and you got to get that flywheel. You got to get that momentum back in. And I want to show you how to do that. I want to show you how to shift that momentum. Carlos, I love that. Real dreams never stop. They never stop. So you've got to ask yourself, be real with yourself. Where has your momentum been? And look, maybe you got caught up in the hysteria. Maybe you got caught up in the panic. Maybe you got caught up in the stories of other people. But don't let their stories become your story. It's your dream. It's your goal. Here's what I know. If you had a goal to sell 20 homes or be involved in 20 transactions this year, guess what? At least 20 people are still going to need to buy or sell between now and the end of the year. So my question is, why can't it be you that gets them? Most likely it's going to be thousands of people that need help between now and the end of the year. So why can't you be the agent who gets them? That's the real question. So the second principle is really about what a runner can teach us about beliefs. How many of you know who Roger Bannister is? How many of you know who Roger Bannister is? Roger Bannister is the first person to run a mile, which I don't know how that translates into kilometers, so sorry. I don't know how to do that, but he's the first person to run a mile in under a minute. Or excuse me, that would be amazing. In under 4 minutes. First person to run a mile in under 4 minutes. So thank you, Jose, 1.6 kilometers. So he's the first person to run 1.6 kilometers in under 4 minutes. Now, what's interesting about this is that prior to him doing that, there were scientists, the smartest people in the world, telling people that the human body is incapable of running a mile or 1.6 kilometers in under 4 minutes. They said it's impossible. The human body is not capable of running that distance in less than 4 minutes. It's just not physically, scientifically possible. And in 1950 something, Roger Bannister ran a mile in under 4 minutes. Now, what's interesting about that is since that time, over 1,700 male athletes have run a mile in under 4 minutes. It went from being scientifically impossible to now it's the standard by which we measure how good a runner actually is. Can they run a mile in under 4 minutes? If they can, they've got a chance at competing at a world stage level. If they can't, forget about it. Now, if you can't run under a 4-minute mile, you may as well not even try competing at a professional level, at an Olympic level in that sport. So what changed between, let's say I think it was 1954 that he did this. So between 1953 and 1954, what changed in the human body? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing changed in the human body. The only thing that changed was one man's belief that it absolutely was possible, regardless of what science says, regardless of what the facts said. He believed that when you're committed, when you believe, when you go all in on something, the facts don't matter. And as soon as he did that, I think that same year, 2 or 3 other people broke the 4-minute or the 4-minute mile. 2 or 3 other people. Nothing changed in the human body, except all of a sudden now they realized, well, if Roger can do it, I can do it. And they went out and did it. And now since then, over 1,700 male athletes across the world have run a mile in less than 4 minutes. And the only thing that changed was the belief that it was possible. And it took one man believing. And when you go all in and you commit, when you have that deep level belief that anything is possible, that for the committed, there is always a way. When you believe that, nothing stands in your way. So if you want to shift your momentum, if you want to shift your energy, it starts by changing your mindset. Principle number 2 is you must change your mindset. So you've got to get in momentum, but the reason, see, momentum is energy. What creates our energy is our mindset. It's our beliefs. It's the way we approach everything, from our heart, from our beliefs, from everything. It's how we show up. So how do we start to shift our mindset? How do we shift our mindset? Well, here's what's really interesting. We know, and some of you have heard this said, that where focus goes, energy flows. So what I focus on, I feel. So if I focus on things that make me afraid, I feel afraid. If I focus on things that make me angry, I feel angry. And so whatever I'm focusing on, I'm going to feel. Now, here's what we know from science. 97% of the time, we will act the way that we feel. So if I'm feeling angry, 97% of my actions when I'm feeling angry are going to be angry actions. They're going to be actions from a space of anger. If I'm feeling afraid, 97% of the actions that I take when I'm feeling afraid are going to be actions coming from a place of fear, scarcity, lack, anxiety, all of that. Now, why is this important? Because right now, with everything going on in the world, what do you think the predominant emotion is right now? Punch it into the chat. What do you think the number one emotion is right now? Fear. Fear, 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 fear. And you know why it's fear? Because fear sells clicks. Fear sells eyeballs. Fear sells traffic on your website, which sells advertising. It gets people watching the news, which sells commercials. It gets people listening to the radio, which sells commercials. So the more the media leads with fear, the more we expose ourselves to that, the more we let fear into our lives, and the more we start focusing on what makes us afraid, and the fear and the anxiety and the panic, the more we start to feel that. And here's what happens. We start to act as if we're afraid, because we are. So I want to kind of give you a thought process here. Really interesting kind of thing to think about. Anxiety, fear. Now look, I get it. If you're being chased by a tiger, which I don't think most of you are around tigers that are going to chase you, but if you're unless you're watching the Tiger King, and maybe, I don't know if that's big over there, but here in the States and Canada, like Tiger King is the thing. You guys watching Tiger King? I don't know if you guys are watching that, so yeah. Okay. So it's over there. That dude's nuts. But So if you're him, maybe you need to be chased by a tiger. But for the rest of you, you're not being chased by a tiger. So most of what we're afraid of is just anxiety. And what happens is anxiety. I want you to think about this. Anxiety is fear about an event that has not yet happened. And it's being afraid of an event that may never happen. And what I'm doing in that moment, when I'm feeling fearful, when I'm feeling anxious, I'm going to the future and I'm imagining a horrible, worst possible case outcome. I'm like, let me think of the worst thing that could possibly happen and let me borrow the emotion. Let me feel it today as if it's already happened. Now, I have no guarantee that that's going to happen. I can take actions to avoid that from happening. And maybe it's going to happen and there's nothing I can do about it. But the reality is when I'm feeling anxious or fearful, it's because I've started to visualize, there's a key word, I've started to visualize a really crappy future. And I've started to bring the emotion of that future event that has not happened and doesn't need to happen into today. And I'm just going to feel it right now. I'm going to go, oh my gosh, what happens if I don't get this figured out? What happens if we're in lockdown until August and I'm not going to be able to do this and I'm not going to be able to do that? And oh my gosh. And I'm starting to feel that emotion right now, as if it's already happened. Now, here's what your subconscious mind does. Your subconscious mind, when you give it this picture of the future that sucks, that's terrible. So I don't know if that word translates. That's awful. If you give it this picture of the future that's awful, you're telling your subconscious mind, go create this future. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I'm focusing on. That's what I'm feeling. Go create it. And so now that I'm feeling anxious and fearful because of this awful outcome that I'm imagining day in and day out, over and over and over again, I'm living in fear, living in panic of this thing that's not guaranteed to happen. What my brain starts to do is it starts to look for ways to create this reality by changing the way that I act right now. So 97% of the actions I will take right now will start moving me towards this outcome that I said I don't want. Anxiety and fear is really bad visualization strategy. People are like, oh, I don't believe in visualization. Yes, you do. You're doing it anyway. If you're anxious, if you're fearful, if you're doubtful, if you're concerned, it's because you're borrowing a future emotion in today's reality, and you're starting to create that reality by the actions you're taking because you told your brain, this is what I want, and you're feeling it in your body, and you're saying, I want to feel this, go create it. That's why when we're talking about mindset and visualization, what we need to do is we need to focus on the outcome we want. What is it that you want to create? Because visualization, because Henry Ford said it this way, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So is it true that it may suck in the future? Yeah, it may be absolutely true that the future is awful. Is it also true that even in an awful environment, I can still create an incredible future for myself? Yes. I get to pick which one I'm going to focus on. Because if I focus on what I want, if I say, this is the vision, this is the picture of the outcome that I want through this and after this, then what I do is I start to feel it as if it's already happening. Much like I do with fear and anxiety, I'm going to borrow the emotion from this future, and I'm going to take that on right now. I'm going to go, holy cow, this is amazing. Let's go make this happen. And now, because I'm feeling the outcome that I want, I'm feeling pumped, energized, excited, amped, ready to rock and roll. And now my actions, guess what they're going to do? They're going to start lining up with the future that I want to create. So if you want to shift your momentum, it starts by shifting your focus. What are you focused on? Because what you're focused on, you feel. Is it anxiety? Is it fear? So there's some key techniques that I want to teach you to shift your focus. to shift your mindset, to change your mindset. I want to give you some things that will help you actually put this into practice. Number one is what we call the gratitude journal. Now, most people, you've heard of a gratitude journal, right? And so it's like, oh, this is where I write down 5 things I'm grateful for, right? I'm thankful for my family, thankful for my health, thankful for my kids, thankful for my wife, thankful for my husband sometimes, thankful for my dog, right? And so what they do is they write 5 or 10 things down that they're grateful for, and then they check it off like it was something to do. And so they do gratitude, but they don't feel grateful. Gratitude isn't something you do, it's something you feel. And the important thing to understand about gratitude is an exclusive emotion. It is impossible to feel grateful and angry at the same time. It's impossible to feel grateful and fearful at the same time. I can't be afraid and go, oh God, the future is going to suck, but thank you for my wife right now. Oh my God, this future is going to suck. It's going to be, oh, this is going to be terrible. I'm so afraid right now, but I'm so grateful. No, you're not. If you're feeling fear, you can't feel gratitude and feel fear at the same time. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. So when you're doing your gratitude list, in fact, here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab a sheet of paper or whatever. If you're typing your notes, I want you to type things out. Just write gratitude list at the top, right? Gratitude list at the top. And I want you to take I'll give you about 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 10, 15 seconds. I want you to write down as many things that you can think of that you're grateful for. So write 10, 15 things. Just take 10, 15, 20 seconds while I get my iPad connected here. And I want you to write down everything that you're grateful for. Write it down right now. Everything you can think of. Don't filter it. Oops. Write down everything you're grateful for. Don't filter it. Just write it down. So if you're doing it, it should look something like this. Right? And then you've got number 1, whatever it is, number 2, whatever it is, number 3, and so on, right? So this is what it should look like approximately. Now, put your pen down or stop typing. Now, here's what I want you to do. This works better if you have a pen, but I want you to cross out every other item. So whatever was number 1, cross it out. Whatever was number 3, cross it out. Whatever was number 5, cross it out. Just take a second and cross them all out. The odd ones, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, whatever it was. Now, let me ask you a question. If you woke up tomorrow and those things that are crossed out were no longer in your life, let's say they were taken from you, how much more grateful do you wish you would have been for those things? How much different would your life look tomorrow if those things were taken from you? Punch into the chat. How much more grateful would you have been? How much different would your life be if those things were taken from you? That feeling, that's gratitude. Doing gratitude and going, oh, grateful for my house, grateful for my wife, all that's doing gratitude. Check it off a list. Boom, done. Super happy I did my gratitude, journal over here. Gosh darn it. Super happy I did my gratitude journal. Done. Moving on with the day. Doing gratitude doesn't create gratitude. Feeling gratitude is what creates gratitude. See, gratitude is not a motion. It's not an action. It's not a motion. It's an emotion. It's an emotional response to true gratefulness for what we have. If you want to shift your emotional state, if you want to change from fear to something else, the fastest way to change it is to get into true gratitude. Every single one of you has so much to be grateful for. Every single one of you has so much to be grateful for. And yet we spend so much time focused on a future that doesn't even exist, being afraid, being scared, rather than going, wait a minute, what do I want? Let me borrow those emotions and let me be abundantly grateful for what I have now, because that is the space I want to play from. That starts to take that train that's moving in the wrong direction and shift it so that it's moving towards the goal, towards the outcome that I want. Because if my beliefs and my mindset are off, I'm creating the energy that is moving the momentum and the flywheel or the train in the wrong direction. Does this make sense, guys? Was this a powerful exercise? Punch into chat if this was a powerful exercise. Yeah. Kind of makes you emotional, doesn't it? Because gratitude is an emotion. See, that's the difference. That's the difference. The second thing I want to teach you is something we call the soundtrack of awesome. The soundtrack of awesome. And this is something I learned from a mentor of mine. But all of you, I'll stop the share for now. So all of you have songs that when you hear these songs, when they come on, man, you get pumped, you get energized. You just want to go out and conquer the world. You know all the words to it. You sing it at the top of your lungs. You just feel it in your body. And all you want to do is dance. It's the songs that when you're in the car and they come on, you turn to your friend and like, oh, this is my jam. And you turn that thing up, you crank it up and you're in the car, you're yelling, you're like, ah, at the top of your lungs, having a phenomenal, yeah, every Queen song. Absolutely, Raquel. Like, you know, we are the champions. I mean, you just like those songs that when they come on, they change how you feel in an instant. We call that your soundtrack of awesome. What I would encourage you to do is create a playlist on iTunes or Spotify or whatever you listen to. Create a playlist of only songs that make you come alive, that make you like 25, 50 songs, whatever it is, that when you hear it, you can't help but feel amazing. So here's the thing. None of the sad like Adele songs where it's like, you know, she's breaking up with somebody like hello and it's like, oh, I just want to cry, you know, none of that crap. I'm talking the songs that make you want to sing and dance and just pump you up. You need to create a playlist of those songs that when you're feeling in a funk and you feel like life sucks and you just watch the news and you're like, man, I feel like death. This is terrible. What you do is you go to your soundtrack of awesome, you pull that thing up, you crank it up, and you have a dance party in your house with you, your family, your dog, your cat. You shouldn't have a cat. You should be a dog person. But whatever your pet of choice is, you do a freaking dance party and you get your body moving. You're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Then you sit down and you focus on what you're truly grateful for. So we call it the soundtrack of awesome, the soundtrack of awesome, or the playlist of awesome. But think of it like the soundtrack of your life. The soundtrack, like, you know, if you had theme music everywhere you were walking, you know, imagine there's that old movie with Jim Carrey where he like lives in a bubble, or I forget what they call it, but it was this old like 1990s movie, I think, where he lived in a bubble. And it was like his whole life was televised. And so he'd be walking and there'd be theme music playing. Imagine that you're just walking through the Truman Show. Thank you, Marta. I knew somebody would know. The Truman Show. So he'd be walking and he'd hear theme music and he'd go, what's going on? And I want you to imagine that these are the songs that are playing before you show up at a listing presentation, before you show up to work with a client, before you show up at a negotiation. These are the songs that you just want to feel like you're a boxer walking out to the ring, a fighter walking out to the ring. You know, when you watch professional fighters like MMA, mixed martial arts, or boxers, when they're walking from the locker room to the ring, what are they doing? They've got their theme song playing, that song that's just going to pump them up over the loudspeaker. That thing is cranked. And what are they doing with their body? They're bouncing, right? They're just they're in there and they're like, okay, man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to smack somebody in the face. I'm ready to get hit in the face. I don't care if I get hit in the face. I'm going to hit back harder. Let's go. And they're ready to go out and make it happen. They're not walking from the locker room to the ring going, oh God, this is going to suck. Oh, he's going to hit me. Oh, it's going to hurt. Oh, I don't want to do this. No, man, they've got their music going. That's their soundtrack, their playlist of awesome that makes them feel amazing. And that is their song. And when it plays, it triggers something in them and they're ready to go. They're ready to fight. What is your playlist of awesome? You should have a soundtrack or a playlist of awesome. And so what I'd love for you guys to do, put that song in the chat so you can get other people like, I know some of you are already doing it. Like, what's that song? For me, Eminem, Lose Yourself. Freaking love that song. You know what another one is? Flow Rider, Club Can't Handle Me Right Now. Like Club Can't Handle Me, that song. Like I was playing that right before this training because I was dancing, I was bouncing, I was having a great time. Like, let's go, man. I'm so ready to make this happen. Like the Script, Hall of Fame. That's on there too. Love that one. Simply the Best, Tina Turner. There's some good stuff in here. So Eye of the Tiger, good stuff, man. Good stuff. So put your favorite like song in there because this can start to be some of your playlists. Like you can be like, oh, I want to add that one. I want to add that one. Now, the third thing I want to teach you to shift your mindset. Oops, my battery came in. Been moving around so much, I knocked the power cord out of my computer. There we go. Third thing I want to teach you is what we call your victory journal or your brag book. I call it brag book. Some people don't like the word bragging because they think that that's, something bad, but it's not in this context. So we call it your victory journal. And here's why this is important. In fact, I won't share my screen just yet. Guys, does the world tell you that you're awesome or that you got a lot of work to do? What does the world tell you? Does the media tell you that you're amazing, or does the media tell you that, wow, you're really flawed? Do they tell you, ladies, that you're not tall enough, or you're too tall, or your boobs are too big, or they're too small? And guys, sorry, you don't look like Brad Pitt, and you don't look like, other sexy people. I don't know who, like, whatever the sexy guys are right now, but you don't look like you're too tall, you're too short, you're freakishly short, you're freakishly tall, you're not the right build, your boobs are too big, your butt's too small. Like all of these things, the world tells you that you're not enough. The world tells you that there are so many things wrong with you. All the commercials, all the advertising is built around the idea that you need this car, you need this house, you need this product to actually be worth something, because without it, you're a loser. You suck. You're no good. And we have so many messages in our brain of all the things that we've done wrong, all the times we've screwed up. In fact, if I were to ask any one of you, tell me 5 big giant mistakes that you've made in your life, you'd be like, oh, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. There it is. You just want 5? I can keep going. How many more mistakes do you want? How many more screw-ups do you want? We have those things ready to rock and roll. The problem is, if I were to ask you, hey, tell me 5 reasons you're awesome. Tell me 5 things that make you absolutely awesome and unique. You would struggle. You go, you might get 1 or 2. You're like, oh, you know what? I'm actually a really good dancer. I'm a really good dancer. Okay, what's another one? I'm a great real estate agent. I may not be the best, but I'm really good. And we start qualifying what we're good at. We don't own it. We don't go, I'm a freaking amazing realtor. I'm an amazing real estate agent. Like I freaking rock. I'm an amazing dancer. We justify it. We qualify it. We go, I'm pretty good. I'm okay at this. And yet we're right there with our problems and our mistakes and why we are awful, why we're not good enough, why we're not smart enough, why we're not pretty enough, why we're not this enough, why we're not rich enough, successful enough, thin enough, tall enough, all of these things. I can tell you all the reasons why I'm not those things, but talking good about myself, we are not conditioned to talk about ourselves in a positive way because people say you're arrogant. They say you're cocky, you're a jerk, you're insensitive. Like, wow, look at the arrogance in that person. Who does she think she is? Who does he think he is? Now, I'm not saying, by the way, that you run around and you post on Facebook, hey guys, I want to just share with you the 10 reasons I'm freaking amazing today. Like, that's not what I want you to do. But the brag book, the victory journal is a journal similar to the gratitude journal, but it's a little bit different. What you do is each and every day. So it looks like this. I call it the brag book. And the brag book is all the reasons I'm awesome, all the successes that I've had, all the times that I've fought through adversity and won, all the times I've made mistakes and bounced back, all the times that I lost, that I failed and still came back stronger, what I learned through it. It's all of those things. And this is between me and God. This is between me and God. Now, if you're not a religious person, it's between you and the universe or you and yourself, whatever. But this is between me and God. And a mentor of mine says it this way: God doesn't create junk, and he didn't start with you. God doesn't create junk, and he didn't start with you. So what the brag book becomes is all the reasons why I'm awesome and I'm exactly who I need to be. So what I might have in here is, you know what? I'm a phenomenal father. I am. I'm a really good father. Does that mean I don't have room to improve? Notice me justifying and qualifying it, because I'm not saying I'm a perfect father, but am I a phenomenal father? You bet I'm a phenomenal father. I work at that. I'm a phenomenal husband. Always room to improve, always room to be better. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying I'm phenomenal, and I'm owning that. You know what? I'm a phenomenal speaker. I love doing this. I am passionate about bringing a message, and nobody's going to show up and deliver the message that I have, that I want to carry. There's only one me, and I own that, and I appreciate that. I'm a great leader. I'm a great motivator. Like all of these things, I can go down the list. Now, some of you may go, no, you're not. And I go, I don't care. That's what I know to be the truth about me. So some people call this the brag book. Some people call it the victory journal. My wife calls it the truth journal, and it's what's true about her. And so in here, I might have, won a martial arts tournament at 18 years old. So I might put in there that, one of the victories I had is that I won a martial arts tournament when I was 16 years old at the time. My bad. 16 years old. So I won a martial arts tournament when I was 16 years old. I need to remember all the wins, all the successes, all the victories, all the times that I fought through adversity, all the times that I've overcome things that have crippled other people, all the times that in spite of the challenge, I pushed through and I won. All the reasons that make me awesome, all the things that I'm great at, all the things that are unique to me that nobody does the way that I do it. Because here's what I know. There is only one Pedro. There is only one Carmen. There is only one Jose. There is only one Nadia. There's only one Luis. There's only one of you. And you are awesome. And God doesn't make junk, and he didn't start with you. So at times like this, when we're feeling down on ourselves, I can't believe I let myself fall out of momentum. I can't believe that I haven't closed a deal in the last 3 months. I can't believe that all this stuff is going on and I don't even know what to do to get leads. I don't even know what to do to get clients. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But we have all of these things. The brag book is there to counteract, to counterbalance, and to remind us of the truth of who we really are. that we are divinely created beings. We are people with a purpose. We are people that are perfect for exactly what God has in store for us. Because right now, the world needs you. They need you. They need you to be the best you possible. But if you don't believe the you that you are is good enough, you'll never show up at the highest level that you need to show up. So the brag book, the victory journal, the truth journal is reminding yourself that you are amazing. And it's all the things that you do, little things that you do, big things that you do. You know, let's say if I call a neighbor to check on him, you know, because we have some elderly neighbors. So if I call a neighbor and I check on it like, hey, how are you doing? You doing okay? You need anything? What I might do is I might put that in my brag book. I might go, you know what? Called Roger to check on him just to make sure he was okay. I'm not going to go post that on social media like, hey guys, celebrate me because I just posted, you know, I just called my neighbor to check on him. He was okay. This is between me and God. This isn't between me and the world. This is between me and myself and me and God. I don't share this with anybody. This is the stuff though that I need to be reminded of, because when I realize that I am exactly who I need to be, that God created me for a purpose, that he designed me to be who I am, that he gifted me with certain things, and I've built skills and talents, and I've taken the raw material and I've worked at it and I've worked at it and I've worked at it, and I'm extremely grateful and I'm focused on my future. I'm focused on the outcome that I want. All of a sudden, guess what happens to my momentum? That train turns around much more quickly, gets into momentum much more quickly towards my goal. And that's ultimately where I want to go, is over here, not over here. Does this make sense, guys? Does this make sense? Cool. Now, the third principle is about what an NFL coach, a National Football League, which is, we call it football. It's, you know, you guys, we actually, what we call football, you know, is, I don't know why we call it football. Soccer, we call football. It's like all screwed up. But the National Football League is basically my favorite sport in the world. I love the NFL. And one of the coaches of the teams, his name is Bill Belichick. And he is considered the absolute smartest coach in the NFL, possibly ever, to play the game or to coach the game. And he's the coach of the New England Patriots. And one of the things that Bill Belichick, one of the things that makes him so great, and please write this down, he knows the rule book better than anybody else, including oftentimes the referees. He knows the rules better than the referees. He knows the rules better than anybody else. And what he does is he has his core strategies, his core plays, the core things that they're going to, that as a team, they're going to have in their arsenal, their core plays that they're going to run, the core strategies they're going to use. But then what he does every single year, because the rule book is always changing. The rules are always changing in the game. So every year he creates what I call adaptive strategies. So he's got his core strategies, which don't change much, but then he has his adaptive strategies, which every year he studies the rule book, and he finds gaps in the rules. He finds things in the rules that can be exploited to his advantage legally. He finds things that other coaches aren't seeing. He finds things that other people aren't looking at. And he goes, how can I use this to my advantage? Because all of this changed, all of this shifted. I bet there's an opportunity to win. I bet there's an opportunity to leverage this to get an edge on our opponents, to get an edge on our competitors. He is a master at owning and understanding the rule book better than anybody else, including the referees of the game and the other competing coaches. And as a result, he is known for having run plays that appear to be illegal, but turn out to be absolutely legal when they look at the rules and they're like, he's right. He can absolutely do this. He did it by the rule book. He just found a weakness in the rules to exploit. They've had to change rules after different seasons are done. They've gone back and they've changed rules that Bill Belichick found and exploited. And after the season was done, they're like, we got to change this because nobody knew this. Nobody thought that could be exploited that way, but he found a way to do it. So why do I tell you this? Because the third principle you're going to need. So you need to get in momentum in the right direction. You need to shift your mindset. But the third thing is you need to look at your strategy. You need to understand your strategy now more than ever. And so we're going to get strategic here. We're going to move into a different level. I'm going to give you a framework to take everything, all the other trainers, all the other coaches. I'm going to give you a master framework that allows you to figure out what do I need to focus on right now and in the coming market, because your strategy is going to be critical right now and in what's coming. But here's what I want you to keep in mind. As you're evolving your strategy, some things are your core strategy. They're not going to change. What we're going to look at is your core strategy and your adaptive strategy. And we're going to start with the adaptive strategy. So here's what happens. Whenever the rules change, and by the way, have the guys, have the rules changed in this market? Yes or no? Have the rules changed in what you can do when you're showing a home, what you can't do when you're showing a home, what you're allowed to do, how many people, have the rules changed? Yes. And what happens when the rules change is it creates chaos, it creates confusion, it creates frustration. And a lot of times people think they know what the rules say, but they're actually wrong about what the rules say. They think that it says they can't do something, but what it's really saying is that they can do something else. And they just haven't looked at the rule to say, wait a minute, is my interpretation of this rule really accurate? Or is there a loophole? Is there an opportunity to exploit this rule while everybody else is saying I can't do things? Is there a way for me to do it with a little bit of a twist? I'll give you a great example. Here in the States, in the US, one of the things that they did is when an agent, a real estate agent, takes a client a listing, it used to be that before you put the listing out to the public, you could run campaigns of coming soon, like, hey, this property's coming soon. And you could drive a whole bunch of traffic to you before it ever got into what's called the multiple listing service out here, which I know you guys don't have there. But they changed the rules and they said, now you're not allowed to promote a coming soon listing unless it's in the MLS, the multiple listing service. So everybody said, well, I can't promote a coming soon listing, but that's not what they said. If you read the rules, they said you're not allowed to post the address. You're not allowed to post pictures of that home, but it didn't say you couldn't promote information about that home to generate information and traffic and get leads from it. So what we did is we studied the rules and we said, wait a minute, there's a loophole here. Don't put a picture of the home and just talk about, instead online, run ads, do different things like incredible 4-bed, 3-bath home coming on the market in this area. If you want to get on the waiting list to get advanced information, put your information here. As soon as I can release you the information, you're going to get it first. And so what they did is we had people creating interest lists. And there were a lot of people that had other agents in the market going, you can't do that. And all of a sudden the associations and the board of realtors was like, actually they can. And so we had a window where we knew how to exploit the gap and we took advantage of it. And now other people are doing that. More and more people are doing that. So the window went away, but it still works in most markets because most agents still think you can't promote coming soon listings. So it worked out in our advantage. So my question for you is, the third rule, by the way, I see the question. The third rule is you need to adapt your strategy. You need to adapt your strategy. So the question in all of this is, how have the rules changed, and are you getting adaptive in your strategy and finding ways to exploit or take advantage of the rules and people's misperception of the rules? Are you finding ways to take advantage of the misperception of the rules? Because that does exist. That does exist. So that's your adaptive. Now I want to talk just real quickly about core strategies, and then we're going to get to Q&A. All right. So core strategies, and then we're going to get to Q&A. Your adaptive strategies are leveraging the shift in the market, the confusion in the market. Your core strategies, though, don't really change. And I want you to draw a giant triangle on a sheet of paper. And then I want you to put 6 lines through it. Now, what we call this is, I call this our success stack. Everything in your business is built on these 7 layers. Every business in any market, there are 7 layers. There are 7 different areas of your business that you need to always be improving. You need to always be looking at and making sure that they're working well. Number 1, the first stage, and everything, what all of this is built on is what we call the foundation layer. The foundation layer. This is your mindset. This is your business plan. This is your energy. This is your momentum. This is the way you show up. You are the foundation of your business. Your business and everything is built on this. So if your mindset is weak, if your business plan is weak, if your strategy is weak, if all of those things are weak, you can't build up without it all falling down. So we've talked a lot about foundation. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but the question you need to be asking yourself is, what can I be doing to strengthen my foundation? That's where the gratitude journal, the brag book, the focusing and visualizing the goals and the outcomes, that's a big part of it. Setting your business plan, looking at your marketing strategies, all of that. The second level is what we call your lead stack or your lead stage, your lead layer. The question you're asking here is, how can I generate new leads for my business? What can I be doing to generate new leads for my business? Now, this does not count referrals. It doesn't count business from your past clients. That's not new business necessarily. This is adding new people into the top of the funnel. How do you get new blood, new people into your world that you can start moving through the path, moving through the funnel, and always be adding new people into the top? What are the strategies that you need to be doing? So the question is, how can I add new leads, new business to my funnel every single day? What strategies can I be using that are putting new people in the top every single day? And we'll dig in on some of this in just a second. Up from there is what we call the cultivation layer. The cultivation layer or the nurturing layer. See, when you generate leads, somewhere between 5% of them to 10% of them are going to be hot. The other 90 to 95% of them are going to need time. They're not going to be ready to buy or sell right now. So you need to nurture them. You need to cultivate the relationship with them until they're ready to move forward. And that's where a lot of agents miss it, is they miss a ton of money right in here. You know, they say the fortune's in the follow-up. That's what you're doing in this stage, because I can generate leads all day long, but if I don't know how to cultivate them and I'm only converting, 5% of them, I'm leaving 95% of my opportunities on the table because I don't have a follow-up plan. I don't have a way of nurturing them, building a relationship with them until they're ready to move forward. So the question you're asking here is, how can I engage them? How can I nurture them? How can I build a relationship with them until they're ready to move forward? Then up from there is what we call the closing layer. So what the goal of the cultivation stage is to get somebody to raise their hand and say, I want to meet with you. I want to meet with you. So that's the cultivation stage. My entire outcome of the cultivation stage is a meeting, an opportunity. That's what I want. In the closing stage, that's where I turn them into a client. That's where I take this opportunity and now I leave with a new seller or a new buyer that I'm representing. That's my goal in the closing stage. So the question I have to be answering here is, why should they choose me? Why should they choose me? Because of all the realtors in the marketplace, this is where the brag book starts to come in real handy. This is where your victory journal, your brag book, all of that starts to really matter. So why should they choose you? Why should they choose you? Then up from there is what we call the service layer. Now they're a client. Now I've got to serve them in such a way that I create 5-star raving fans. How can I increase the level of service that I provide them? so that I create 5-star raving fans? What are you doing to improve your service? Then up from there is what we call repeat and referral. I'm just going to abbreviate that. Repeat and referral business. So this is my past clients. This is referrals from my network. And I want as much of this business as possible, but your repeat and referral business should only be a small percentage of your business. The vast majority of your business needs to come from the new leads down here that you're generating. Because if I'm dependent on repeat and referral, if I'm dependent on repeat and referral up here, I'm dependent on other people to give me my business. I'm waiting for somebody else to send me a lead or to call me. Down here, when I control my lead flow, I'm in control of my income. I'm in control of my future. Then I want as many repeat clients. I want as many past clients to come back and work with me. I want as many referrals as possible. But then up here, what I now want to focus on is how do I scale this up? How do I make this bigger? How do I take the system and this machine that I've built and add more to it so I make more money, so I do it in less time? How do I scale this machine up? These are 7 layers that every single business and every single industry that I've identified, every business owner needs to be focused on. So what's happened over the last couple of weeks, couple of months, as you've been in lockdown and getting all these trainings, is you've been getting strategies or tactics for each of these individual areas. And you're like, where do I start? Where do I start? Well, here's what you do. Other than foundation, which is always the number one place to start, other than your mindset, other than your beliefs, other than all of that, if you could fix just one area, if you could fix just one of these areas, other than the foundation, other than the mindset, if you could just fix one of these areas, which area, if you were to improve it between now and when all of this lifted, between now and when we go back to more of a normal market, whatever that looks like, between now and even right now, but in the market right now and whatever market's coming, if you could fix one area or improve one area out of these 6 or 7, which area should you be focused on? Which area should you be focused on? Is it generating new leads? Or maybe you're like, man, I'm getting plenty of leads. I need to be better at follow-up, at cultivating them. Oh, you know what? I'm doing a really bad job servicing my clients. I'm not really good at servicing my clients. I need to be better at servicing my clients. Then if I know the area, I can go back to all the training that Remax Europe has given you and find the training that matches up with the area I want to fix and just focus in on that training. Focus in on those 1 or 2 or 3 strategies that I'm going to use over the next couple of weeks to start changing and improving my business and my systems and my processes and my lead generation or whatever it is. Then after I feel like I've made some progress in that, and now that keeps me in momentum because I'm moving my business forward no matter what's going on. Then what I can do is I can go, cool, I've got those things in place. Now let me look at these 7 areas again. Which area should I focus on next? Which one area, if I were to improve it now, would make it the biggest impact? And then you go to that area and you just keep moving it kind of one area at a time. And you work through as many things as you can. But all of the information thrown at you is just information unless you implement it, unless you put it into practice. And the way you put it into practice is you understand using our success stack where you need to focus your time, your effort, your energy, your money, all of that stuff. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? Punching yes. Because if it does, now you know the 3 things you need to be looking at. Where's my momentum? Where's my mindset? Because that's going to control the direction my momentum is moving towards my goal or away from my goal. And what are my core strategies? These form your core strategies. These are things that you're going to be doing kind of no matter what market is taking place. Then what are the adaptive strategies that I need to create based on the rule changes, based on what's shifting, based on what's changing? Because as I mentioned at the top of the market there, or at the top of this training, there is nothing new about entering a new market. We do it all the time. And so as the rules are changing, as the rules are adapting, I need to think like a world-class coach and go, okay, wait a minute. There's an opportunity to take these rules and use them in my advantage, use them in my favor, and create an advantage over my competition. All right, guys. So let's get to questions. Guys, was this valuable?
I would say yes. We have a lot of yeses.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thanks so much, Travis. That was really a really good talk for this afternoon, and really inspiring, and really like getting your head right again, and like getting ready to move forward, because I think we're all in the same position that this time is really challenging for everyone. And although you kind of think you're in control, then sometimes things throw you back. And so that has been very, very valuable. And I've seen that we have a few questions, and I'm gonna read out one from Nuno from the beginning, which I think is very interesting. How do you like show good energy and be positive when talking to a client without being insensitive in this like fragile environment we are currently at?
This is such a great question, and we've gotten it so much from our clients. And here's what we talk about is your clients. And I asked this, what is the number one emotion that everybody's feeling right now? It's fear. It's uncertainty. They don't know what's going on. So what they need from you more than anything else is optimism and certainty. That's what they need from you. They actually don't need you to be as sensitive as you're thinking they need you to be. What they want is they want to know that you're a freaking expert who knows exactly what he or she is doing. And here's how that sounds. So I can still be sensitive and confident. And I can say, hey guys, I get it. There's a lot going on in the market. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, but here's what I need to let you know. This is an incredible opportunity. If you do need to buy or you do need to sell, I'm here to tell you, this is a phenomenal opportunity. And it's, again, I know there's a lot going on. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of panic, but I do need to let you know as your realtor, as your agent, because it's my responsibility to look out for you. I need to let you know that if you're looking to buy or sell right now, you may not have a better time than right now. So I'm certain, I'm confident, and I'm also sensitive to what's going on. So we do what's called pre-framing. Pre-framing. So it's the frame that I put around what I'm about to say. Because my pre-frame on that was like, it was acknowledging that there's stuff going on and not letting that set my energy. I can acknowledge things are going on from a place of care, concern, love, desire to serve and help, and still be strong, confident, and certain that this is what I need to do for my clients. Because I'm here to tell you right now, I get it. Everything's going on, guys, but this is a phenomenal time to scale up your business. There's so much opportunity out there right now. And let me ask you, were any of you offended by my energy today?
No, contagious.
Yeah. So your clients want to feel that same thing from you.
Yeah.
So I didn't offend you because I get it. I know what's going on. And it's irrelevant to whether you win or lose. There's always a way for the committed. So I want you all in on the dream.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Travis. We have another, I hope you can't hear it, but there's just started the construction site next to our house, and it's okay because I can hear it. It's crazy. So we have a question from Isabel. If the gratitude journal and all those things you just talked us through, is this something like a daily routine?
Yeah. So great question. So the soundtrack of awesome, you ought to just be playing anytime you want to feel good like that. My soundtrack of awesome is going all day, every day, like in between meetings, in between stuff. Like I got that thing jamming, pumping. If I'm outside grilling, cooking up food for dinner, whatever, I'm listening to that. Or, unless the girls are out there, then I'm playing with them. But it's like, it's the soundtrack of my life. The gratitude journal, here's my challenge to you. Here's my challenge to you. Do it every day for 30 days. But here's the challenge. Every day, I want you to write down 10 new things that you're grateful for. And here's why. I want you to imagine that if it isn't in my gratitude journal, it's going to be taken from me. What if everything that wasn't in your gratitude journal was taken from you? What would you put in your gratitude journal that you haven't been very grateful for? Let me give you an example. How many of you have your sight? When's the last time you were really grateful for the ability to see a sunset? I mean, for crying out loud, you guys live in Portugal, 300 days of sunshine. It's stunning there. The sunsets over the Silver Coast, it's gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
Are you grateful for your eyesight? Yes or no? When's the last time you were grateful for the fact that you have movement in your body? When's the last time you were grateful for the fact that you know what? I have all my limbs. Because right now there's somebody who's losing an arm. There's somebody who's losing a leg, and that their life won't ever be the same. It's going to change radically. When's the last, and so here's how you do this, because my wife is in my gratitude journal 1,000,000 times. But here's what I do is I don't just say, thank you for Lisa. What I do is I say, thank you for Lisa and how hard she works at being an incredible mom. Then next day I could thank you for Lisa and the fact that she's my best friend and we talk about everything. So now I'm getting specific, because I could still have Lisa in my life and we're not best friends. We're fighting all the time. You know, she could suck as a mom, which she doesn't. Like, I could still have her in my life. Like, thank you for Lisa. And it'd still be a miserable relationship. So I'm going to be grateful for like, thank you for my daughter's smiles. Thank you that I get to see their faces light up when I come home and it's like, Daddy, like, thank you for that. I'm thankful for the little things. That's what I want to do. So I would challenge you 10 things every day for 30 days, but here's the key. New things every day, new angles on it. And I want you to feel it. Feel what life would be like without it. How many of you woke up with clean water? Like, you could go to your faucet, you could turn on water and you could drink it. That puts you ahead of like 80% of the world. You know, a lot of people in the world, they wake up and they don't have clean water. They poop in a hole in the ground. You know, they sleep on dirt. How many of you woke up with a roof over your head and a bed that was soft? My bed is in my I'm freaking grateful for my bed. I have back problems for years, and my bed has helped me tremendously with my back problems. So I'm grateful. You know, when's the last time one of my coaches said this? I don't have a paperclip. When's the last that she goes, in my life, she goes, I can be grateful for a paperclip. She goes, because think about what happens if we don't have a paperclip, and you know those little buttons inside those little holes that you have to hit to reset things? What if you didn't have a paperclip to shove into that little hole and reset whatever you needed to reset? You'd be screwed. You couldn't use whatever you needed to reset. You're like, dang it, I can't get the disk out. I can't reset whatever this is. Like, how grateful can you really be? That's the challenge.
Travis, we have another question. This one is in Portuguese, so I'll try to translate it. What, in your opinion, are the best platforms for video to social media, and as well as to share newsletters online through email and social media, in your opinion? Yeah.
So in terms of if you want to use it for email, my recommendation is BombBomb. I think that's a phenomenal platform. Yeah. I love the owner group. I love the people over there. I love their systems. I love their technology. It's amazing. And it's super simple. And that's bomb.com. And so I love that team, and I make nothing if you sign up. It's just, I love what they do. The other thing in terms of where to share video, it depends on your goal. What is it that you're trying to achieve? So we put video on YouTube. We put video on Facebook. We put video on all sorts of different platforms, Instagram, whatever it is, based on what we're trying to achieve. What is the outcome? What is it that I want people to do? How do I want them to consume this? Is it short content or long content? What action am I trying to get them to take on that video? So I believe that it goes where it needs to go based on what your outcome is that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, fantastic. Lisa?
Yeah, I think we do have a few more questions.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think we should be able to go through all of them. One that I also find really interesting, because I keep asking myself that all the time. So from Alexander, what's your tip to connect goals, planning, strategy, actions, and habits, and all of the things we get without losing focus all the time?
Okay. Love this question. I spend very little time worried about the how. I spend the vast majority of my time focused on the goal that I want. Because here's what I know. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. I have ideas. I'll be honest. I have some ideas and I have some things that I'm going to put in place, and we're going to start moving if I were to sit down and I were to ask you, hey, what are 5 things right now that you could be doing in your business that would move it forward? You could come up with 5 things. And so what I really want to do is I want to keep the goal in mind, because what I have found is that I can have all these ideas about how it's going to happen, and it happens completely different than I thought it was going to happen. And so I hold the plan loosely. I hold the vision tight. Like I hold that thing. I'm like, I know what I want. I know my outcomes. I know where I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I'll put together a plan, but there's an old saying, and there's a saying in the US. I don't know if it translates or how it translates, but man makes his plans and God laughs. Man makes his plans and God laughs. So I know that if I've got this vision, and I believe my visions are God-given. I believe this is where I believe I was put on earth for these reasons, to achieve these things, help these many people, do all of these things. And I believe that that's where I'm going. I'm going to put together ideas of how I think I'm going to get there. But I hold those things so loosely, because what I can't predict is how God shows up in the process. I can't predict COVID-19. So here's what I know. I don't know how we're going to get our goal this year. But you know what? I haven't changed the goal. I still believe it's possible. I believe that I'm smart enough to figure it out. I believe God's big enough to help make it happen. I believe I have the best team in the world to adjust and adapt and do what we need to do. And we're going to go out and we're going to serve a bunch of people. And who knows? But I believe it's still possible. And so what I need to do is I need to understand that I'm not going to try and drill this all down to the minutia where I lock myself into this thing that now I'm so rigid that when things change, it throws me off my game. I have habits and routines that I live in. So every morning I wake up usually between 3:30 and 4:30, and I do my mindset work. I do prayer time, meditation time. Then, normally I would go to the gym, but I don't have a gym right now. So, I would go to the gym, then I come back and I get ready and I have a morning routine. There's certain things that I do every morning, and that sets the tone for the day. Then there's my day is structured around my outcomes. What do I need to do today to move my business forward? What do I need to do today? Where do I need to place my focus to move the business where I need to take it? And that may change day in and day out, but I'm not going to get so detailed and so regimented that my life doesn't adapt very easily to what's going on. And I just know that the most important thing is to spend as much time focused on my goal and my vision as possible. And my subconscious will do a lot of work for me to help me figure out how we're going to get there. Does that help? Does that answer your question?
That definitely helps. Thanks so much. It always sounds like when you say it out loud, it always sounds a lot easier, and then it's possible to grasp the idea, but just thinking about it, it's always like, oh, how am I actually going to do this? I'll lose focus again. But then hearing this again puts you back into the right mindset.
You brought something up. This is really important. And you said a key word, the how. So what happens is success is only about 10% how. It's 90% mindset and heart set. the how is going to change. The how is going to adapt. How we were going to get to our goal at the beginning of the year is different than how we're going to get to our goal now. But the mindset, the vision, the heart set, that energy, that's where I need to live. So I spend very little time worried about the how. I spend just enough time in the how to figure out what we're going to do right now. But then I'm back up into the vision, into the future, because that's going to create the energy and the momentum that I'm going to be executing and moving forward with, regardless of what happens with that 10% how that's always going to be changing. 90% of it is going to be me just being focused on that vision and that goal. It's because when I do that, I'm engaging my heart, my core. It shifts my energy. If I'm stuck in the how, I'm like, oh, how am I going to do this? And I get frustrated and I get agitated. I'm like, oh, why can't I figure this out? And is that the energy that I'm going to possibly create this vision, this goal? No. So I spend as little time in the how as possible and more time up here, because that's going to drive my execution.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much. I think we are ready. I know there are a lot of questions still, but we are already at the end of our time. So Antonio, if you would, first of all, Travis, thanks so much for taking the time today. And Antonio, if you want to say a few words also, Yeah,
to you, Travis, it was absolutely fantastic. We could stay here for the entire afternoon listening to you. We have a lot of questions that weren't answered, but we will share the video, and probably the people will have the answers on the video that we will share. Thank you, Lisa, for providing us this huge honor to have Travis with us. Only for 1 hour, but it was enough to have lots of confidence in the future, and to have lots of energy to keep doing our work. We believe that Portugal is an example to the world, not only on real estate, but also fighting this virus that we are facing, and the numbers are an answer to that. So as an example that we are, I believe we are going to come up of this crisis more strong, and we are tough to beat. So to everyone, thank you so much for your help. Para todos, obrigado por terem estado connosco esta hora. Nós vamos disponibilizar a gravação do Travis. Tenho a certeza que o Travis vai estar connosco em pessoa no futuro. E, portanto, obrigado a todos por terem estado connosco esta tarde. Travis, I was saying that I believe that you will be with us personally in the future.
I believe that
we will have an event with you as we were supposed to have. So thank you so much for this huge.
Obrigado. Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it. It was so much fun. So much love to you guys. Guys, get out there and serve the world. You are needed now more than ever. And can we get a link sent out where they can connect with us? And
yes,
would that be
definitely
possible? We'll get a link out to you guys.
Yes.
You can join our we have a private Facebook group. We'll get you guys access to that. So you can join that Facebook group where we do more of these types of trainings to help you through this time. But man, so much love. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you to the entire Remax Europe network. This was so much fun. And I agree, Antonio, we are going to be together live in person, and we're going to get to hug. We're going to get to high five. We're going to get to do whatever the heck we want. But guys, the world needs you now more than ever. Show up at your highest level. All right. Love you guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lisa. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.